Egypt isn't just building skyscrapers in the desert. They're replacing their entire capital. 45 kilometers east of Cairo, $58 billion is transforming barren sand into a city 3 times the size of Washington, D.C. and bigger than Manhattan or Singapore. Here, a Chinese mega conglomerate has secured 30 years of control over the downtown skyline. 6,000 cameras will watch every street. The military oversees the land and the deals. Egypt's government is moving its nerve center into a high-tech fortress designed to project power, keep order, and reshape the future. But behind the steel and ambition of Egypt's new capital lies a ruthless gamble. Will this become the world's most successful power play? Or its most expensive mistake? $58 billion. That's the price tag stamped on Egypt's new capital. A figure so large it outpaces the GDP of dozens of countries. The city sprawls across 700 square kilometers, swallowing an area bigger than Singapore, dwarfing Manhattan, and stretching farther than all 5 boroughs of New York combined. But size is just the start. At the city's core, a Chinese state giant, CSCEC, holds the keys to the central business district for the next 30 years. This isn't just construction. It's a foreign concession at the heart of Egypt's government. Every street, plaza, and office block is wired into a digital nervous system. 6,000 surveillance cameras, feeding a central command hub, watching every move, every hour of the day. The numbers sound unreal, until you see the contracts, the cranes, and the relentless pace of change. Why would Egypt hand over this much control, this much land, and this much data? The answer lies in a mix of ambition, anxiety, and the promise, or peril, of a city built for absolute control. March 2015. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi stands before a crowded hall and unveils the plan. A new capital, carved out of the desert, 45 kilometers east of Cairo. On paper, it is a solution to the capital's suffocating gridlock, a city of 22 million, and a chance to reshape Egypt's destiny. But the logic runs deeper. The site sits almost exactly between Cairo and the Suez Canal, the world's busiest waterway, funneling 12% of all global trade and $8 billion in revenue each year. Whoever controls this corridor controls the crossroads of Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. At the center of the project stands ACUD, the Administrative Capital for Urban Development, a company with a 51% military stake. The military's land, the government's cash, and the promise of a city that projects power as much as it houses people. For Sisi and his generals, the new capital is not just a city. It is a fortress, a statement, and a launchpad for Egypt's Vision 2030 ambitions. President Sisi's pitch is as bold as the skyline he's building. According to his government, the new capital isn't just a showpiece, it's an engine for national revival. The official promise? Up to 1.5 million jobs as the city fills out, from construction workers and engineers to tech specialists and civil servants. And the numbers don't stop there. By mid-2025, government figures claim more than 800 billion Egyptian pounds in investment has already been committed, drawn from state budgets, land sales, and private developers betting big on the city's future. That's money pouring into roads, utilities, telecoms, and the business districts meant to anchor Egypt's economy for decades. The project is branded as the centerpiece of Vision 2030, a leap into digital governance, modern infrastructure, and a new role for Egypt as a regional powerhouse. Sisi's administration frames the capital as proof that Egypt can build at global scale and bring the benefits home. Satellite images from NASA tell the story better than any press release. What was once an unbroken stretch of sand now pulses with movement. Trains glide along the new electric monorail, linking the city's core with the edge of Cairo. Each morning, more than 48,000 government employees file into glass towers and marble halls, carrying out the daily work of ministries, agencies, and the presidency. Parliament held its first session here in April 2024, signaling that the machinery of the state has officially shifted east. The city's administrative district is no longer a blueprint. It's a living grid, with office lights burning late and civil servants navigating a maze of new protocols and digital ID checks. Outside the government blocks, housing complexes rise in neat rows. Over 1,500 families have already settled in, with thousands more expected by year's end. For many, the adjustment is stark. Higher rents, unfamiliar streets, and a sense of isolation in neighborhoods that still feel half-empty. Yet the amenities are real. Broad avenues, reliable water, and security on every corner. School buses and delivery vans make their rounds, hinting at the routines of a city slowly finding its rhythm. The infrastructure is not just for show. Utilities, telecom networks, and the monorail all operate daily, supporting a city that, at least in its core, is up and running. The transformation is visible from space, but it's the routines of workers and families that prove the city is more than a model. It's a functioning capital, built from scratch in less than a decade. Rising from the center of the new capital is a structure designed to be impossible to ignore. The iconic tower, 385.8 meters tall, 77 stories of glass and steel, now stands as Africa's tallest building, dwarfing every rival on the continent by more than 150 meters. Its obelisk-inspired silhouette was crafted to echo Egypt's ancient power. But the ambition is all about the future. More than 5,000 workers, led by engineers from China State Construction Engineering Corporation, brought the tower to life using advanced construction techniques rarely seen in the region. It's not just a symbol, it's a magnet. Around the iconic tower, banks, telecom giants, and multinational firms are shifting their headquarters into the city's business district. Private developers, sensing the momentum, have poured in over 300 billion Egyptian pounds, betting on the city's long-term payoff. Land sales fuel the next round of construction, creating a loop where every new corporate move drives up values and draws in more investment. According to government and ACUD figures, the project has generated over 800 billion pounds in committed investment, though independent audits of that figure remain elusive. For now, the skyline tells its own story. Cranes still swing, office towers fill, and Egypt's economic future is being wagered on steel, concrete, and the confidence of its biggest companies. But here's the twist. Behind the glass towers and billion-pound contracts, Egypt is running on borrowed time and borrowed money. The country's debt now stands at 108.7% of GDP, one of the highest ratios in the developing world. For every pound spent on the new capital, another is owed to lenders at home and abroad. Economists tracking Egypt's finances warn that this mega project could tip the country into a debt trap, with repayments stretching for decades. Meanwhile, poverty has climbed from 26 to 33% under President Sisi, leaving more than a third of Egyptians struggling to afford basics. Critics argue that the $58 billion poured into concrete and marble could have transformed schools, hospitals, or housing for the millions left behind. And there's another gap. No environmental impact assessment has ever been published for the project, despite Egyptian law requiring one for developments of this scale. The city's rise is undeniable, but so are the cracks appearing beneath its foundation. Across Africa, city planners and government ministers are watching Egypt's new capital with a mix of envy and caution. Lagos, Nairobi, and Addis Ababa have all sent delegations to study the NAC's digital backbone, especially its facial recognition system and the 6,000 cameras feeding a central control room. The technology isn't just for traffic or utilities. It's designed to spot crowds, trace faces, and lock down districts before unrest can begin. The model is clear: a city where protest is logistically impossible and dissent is mapped in real time. But there's a deeper contest unfolding. American firms laid early groundwork for the city's networks.
but Chinese companies now run the show. Hardware, software, and 30-year management rights in the business district. This blend of US and Chinese tech, fused in one capital, has turned Egypt into a proving ground for a new kind of urban sovereignty. Investors from Johannesburg to Casablanca are weighing the risks and rewards. Will the NAC become the blueprint for Africa's next wave of smart cities? Or a warning about trading liberty for control? The answer will come in the next 2 years, as the world watches to see if Egypt's gamble pays off, or if the desert claims another grand design. In just under a decade, Egypt has spent $58 billion transforming 700 square kilometers of desert into a new capital. Satellite images and government records confirm that over 48,000 civil servants now work there, and more than 100,000 housing units have been built. This city is bigger than New York and features Africa's tallest building, the iconic tower, standing at 385.8 meters. Yet, major questions remain. There was no public environmental impact assessment, and Egypt's debt-to-GDP ratio now exceeds 108%. Surveillance systems with 6,000 cameras are fully operational, while military-linked companies manage most contracts. As of April 2024, Parliament meets here, but the city's long-term viability, economically, socially, and ecologically, remains unproven. The next 3 years will show whether this project becomes a model for African development or a cautionary tale of ambition outpacing reality. For now, Egypt's new administrative capital stands as one of the most ambitious and controversial urban experiments in the world.